from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information. Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for showers and storms tonight with a low around 74. Saturday partly sunny with a high near 85. And Sunday sunny with a high around 86. Nightingale offers a warm, inviting atmosphere with a full menu of American classics like the famous Nightingale Burger and Fries, Ginger Tamari Chicken Wings, and Duck Pastrami Reuben. They're open daily from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. with a full menu available until midnight. Takeout orders also are welcome. Learn more at nightingalempls.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story. This is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And it is Casual Friday here in GhostBox Radio. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope everyone had a very good week this week. Our goal today is to help ease you into the weekend and hopefully kind of set you on the path for relaxation. And if you have to work this weekend, hopefully our show puts you in a good mood to get things moving here. Before we get too far down the road, I just want to let folks know in the Twin Cities area that we are currently under a severe thunderstorm watch, which is in effect till 4 a.m. in the Twin Cities area. It doesn't mean that there isn't anything really that's currently on our way storm-wise in our direction, but you know what it means. Keep your eyes open. If you have a weather radio, which I do, which, you know, like the nerd I am, it goes off, and that's how I knew we were in one. You know, it's like, to the weather radio, you know, that's kind of what I did to go to see what was going on there. Or if you have stuff on your phone, you know, alerts and whatnot, please make sure that you have them up. We don't want anything to happen to any of you. Meanwhile, in Eden Prairie, we have Adam joining us on this Casual Friday. And how are you doing tonight?
Doing well, and I do have to work this weekend, so maybe I can just listen to GhostBox while I'm producing the other show that I have to actually do.
Well, like I said, hopefully this show puts you in a good mood for this weekend, and
it should. It'll get me through the show. I've got to roll tomorrow.
Yeah, no. Well, and you know, you always have good, you know, the weekend shows, and we don't talk about them enough. If you haven't done so, folks, I mean, we talk about our show quite a bit. We talk about the shows during the week, but please consider checking out on am950radio.com the weekend shows. There are some, I mean, not some, they're all very good. Some I think I find more appealing than others, just personal taste, but they're all very good and all led by very informative and very wonderful people. And, you know, I don't think those shows get enough love. So please consider checking it out. And do you have any live shows tomorrow, Adam, that you're doing, or?
I have one tomorrow. We have Dr. Ken Hageland in for Living Healthy and Aging Well. So for those folks in the older community, great show for that. And then Connections ends up being a repeat, but it's a good one. If you have dogs, you'll want to tune into that one tomorrow at 9 o'clock.
There you go. Yeah.
All about doggies.
And all these are also available on Spotify.
Yes.
And then also on am950radio.com. So, it's, a lot of people have been very good to GhostBox on AM950, and it's nice to be able to just hopefully get some new listeners for them as well. So please consider doing that. Also, of very big importance is today is International Cat Day. And I told Puff, my cat, about that, and she seemed kind of nonplussed about the whole situation, but that's okay as well.
Well, didn't you give her the extra can of Fancy Feast tonight because it's International Cat Day?
Yes, and just like in the commercials in the 80s, I served it in a crystal goblet.
Excellent. I was hoping you got one for Puff.
Yeah, I mean, she deserves it, clearly. You can tell she knows the difference between a crystal goblet and a paper plate. So it's only the best for Puff. So yeah,
it's like there's that new cat food commercial out now. And honestly, even though you don't have kids, I thought of you when I saw it. There's a woman sitting on a couch and the cat's on her shoulder. And you hear this kid in the background go, "Hey, Mom, I'm hurt." And she's just sitting there petting the cat. "Yeah, there are Band-Aids." And the kid goes, "I'm bleeding. Get two."
Yeah.
And it's like, that would be Greg as a dad. "Yeah, just get two. I'm playing with the cat."
I don't have kids, but I'm a kid at heart. Does that help?
Actually, I think that would. You can be like, "Oh, I'm bleeding. Oh, little kitty cat."
Yeah, a little kitty cat. And I told her she was the best today, and she just kind of stared at me. So I mean, I think that resonated to her. I think that we connected on a level that we haven't before. So
look on her face was like, "Well, duh, I know me."
Yeah, she's just like, she's like, no kidding, fool. Fool is the affectionate name she calls me. I know.
I'm glad your pet has a pet name for you. Now,
yeah, right.
I've seen this I saw this, I can't remember if it was on Facebook or Reddit today, but it was a discussion about International Cat Day. And it was, cats own you like people own dogs. And it was an entire discussion about how the cat actually runs your life to where, as a dog owner, you control the dog's life.
And we happily do that as cat owners. I mean, that's we acknowledge that. I would be surprised if any cat owner would be like, no, that's not it at all. No, of course it is. It's 100% it. They run our lives, and we love it, and we ask for more. I posted because there was a meme that I posted about cat lovers and how cats are kind of the soul of the house and everything. And I said, here's the thing though, on the Facebook post, I said that also, I mean, let's be fair about it. That also applies to dog owners, to people who own snakes, and I know people who own snakes. I know people who own different types of animal. Love is always love. It doesn't matter what kind of animal it is, but all I know is that love from an animal is much better than love from a human. That's of course, I should be careful. You have a family. I have a cat, so
you notice I said quiet.
Yeah, I know. I was like, because that's probably, you're just like, no. But
I don't know, man. There are times my dog doesn't talk back to me.
No. But I mean, there is such a purity with a love from an animal that I really like that. And I'm clearly I'm not funny enough, my name is Greg, but I'm not always super gregarious when it comes around to other people. So it's always you can go home and you can say anything to a cat or a dog or a snake or whatever that you can't say. Sometimes you have to be very careful on other human beings and stuff. So
I totally get that. My good friend Terry, he said the best psychiatrist he ever had was his bearded dragon.
And that is true. I mean, I'm not saying specifically a bearded dragon, but of an animal. I mean, maybe they are better than the others when it comes to psychiatric help. But I remember when I was, when my ex-wife we're still married, and she was living here, and life just wasn't great. And it wasn't great for me, but I'm sure it wasn't great for her either. I'd like to be fair about this. But every night at 9, p.m., literally at 9 p.m., my cat Dave, who just like Linus was a rag doll, he'd come up on the bed, he would lay down, and I would literally lay my head on him, on his fat little tummy, and I would tell him basically how unhappy I am.
Mhm.
And literally around 9:20, he would be like, enough of this. And he'd get up and get off the bed and go about his day, probably coming back down here to visit my ex-wife, who, funny enough, where I'm doing the show now used to be her office, and she stayed all the time playing computer games. So, he was equal opportunity. He'd be up and down. Maybe he was telling her what I was telling him. I don't know. I don't know if she spoke cat, because she didn't. I'm not gonna stop.
Or he could very much be like, all right, I got my next therapy session, time to go.
The cat is in, that sort of thing. Yeah, no, very
time
much.
is catnip. Let's go.
yeah, time is catnip indeed. Yeah, so no, so it's great, and I really appreciate that. Now, also, we got in the news today, and you and I were talking about this right beforehand, was the passing of astronaut Jim Lovell at the tender age of 97.
Yeah, maybe we should talk about the cat second, because this is actually sad. He was a true American hero, probably the most famous failed mission in NASA history. They even made a blockbuster movie about it. But he got his one chance to go to the moon, and a mathematical error and a small explosion prevented him from being one of the handful of people who have actually been able to be on the lunar surface. And I think that's just sad.
But he is a hero. And
oh yeah,
he
they would have never gotten back without him.
He saved lives. Yep.
Yeah.
He saved lives. And we were talking about it off air beforehand, just even like, and it's more than a movie. We don't get us wrong. But just even talking about our experiences, and that there is an slight age difference between you and I, and how we saw it, and how, the effects of it on us were and stuff. Just really good. And like you said off air, Adam, is like, a life well lived, a long life, and a very well respected one as well.
Very much so. And the portrayal that Tom Hanks did of him in that movie, I know Hanks actually spent time with him and actually talked to him about everything that went on in that doomed capsule, and it showed in the film. And to me, I think it's Tom Hanks's best performance outside of The Burbs. I love The Burbs, but I think that movie it made me reimagine space, if you will.
Yeah,
and
I think what I like about that too is that because of when the film takes place, it's, even though space flight has been around for a while by that point, it was still what I consider not only in its infancy, but also when it was still exciting for people, because there was, we hadn't reached, I was going to say, it was still exciting. Like the effect that you said it had on you.
Yeah, and you had the press coverage still in that day. Nowadays, we're launching rockets and things left and right, and it never makes the headlines. But back then, everyone that went up, there was always media coverage. There was live coverage on the radio. They would rebroadcast what the astronauts were saying in space on certain channels. It was a perfect time for the space race, and a perfect time to look ahead to the future of space and travel.
Yeah. I mean, there was so much. Now, Lovell was a veteran of 4 space flights: Gemini 7, Gemini 12, Apollo 8, and Apollo 13. In a statement released Friday, the Lovell family highlighted his amazing life and career accomplishments and his legendary leadership in pioneering human space flight. But to all of us, he was dad, granddad, and the leader of our family. Most importantly, he was our hero, the family said in a statement. We'll miss his unshakable optimism, his sense of humor, and the way he made each of us feel we could do the impossible. He was truly one of a kind, because he did the impossible.
Yeah.
He surely did.
I mean, how could you
Incredible.
imagine though being one of his kids and be like, "Dad, I can't do this." He'd be like, "I got us back from being lost in space. You can do this."
Yeah, I mean, if I can get my crew back to Earth, and by jerry rigging it, I mean, not too far from Homer with the rod,
Yeah, no kidding, right?
right? I mean, and then then you don't tell me that you don't think you can, be whatever you want to be.
Yeah,
I
no
mean,
kidding.
that's incredible, isn't it? Unbelievable. So folks, keep him in our prayers and our thoughts. Truly a fantastic individual, and he will be missed. So let's see here as we are going through stuff before we get into break. First of all, we have a question of the week that I will tell before we go into break here. But one of the things I like to do is kind of share out some of the paranormal happenings around this weekend and the upcoming week. If you want to take part in something paranormal, and these aren't all exactly paranormal, but they scratch an itch for sure. One of them is Refined Divine. She's going to be in Baraboo this weekend. And if you listen to Wednesday's show, if you go out to Baraboo and take part in their show, if you go to the show, if you say GhostBox at the front where you pay, they will let you in for free. They will take care of the admission. You will not have to pay. And to find out where this is over in Baraboo, go to Refined Divine Psychic Medium on Facebook. It's all there. You can read about it. But once again, if you go out to Baraboo this weekend to go see Refined Divine, when you get to where you pay, just say GhostBox and they will let you in. That's pretty cool. I like that. So please, folks, take advantage of it. That's really neat. Also, if you want to stick around in the area, the Twin Cities, Charvinity has her Psychic and Healing Fair this weekend. That is over at the Doubletree Hilton over in Bloomington. And you can go to Charvinity, charvinityfairs.com, actually, and you can see that's tomorrow. And then on Sunday, it's going to be at the Anderson House in Wabasha. Once again, go to charvinityfairs.com. You get all the information. I support both of these wonderful events, but I shall be at neither this time. We were actually supposed to be at Madison Expo this weekend, and we ended up dropping out. So that's also happening. Madison Expo in Madison, Wisconsin. You're hearing the ads and stuff for that. Also, I want to kind of bring to light, there's an investigation, a paranormal investigation that is happening this coming Thursday over at Divine Lights in Anoka. Shar and I will be investigating the basement, but more so, it's for you to come join us and you do the investigation. We've done one of these so far. It was a lot of fun. And I will tell you, I'm hoping it arrives by Thursday. I got a new piece of paranormal equipment that I've been seeing people use for a long time. I've been wanting to get it. It's kind of expensive, so I've kind of held off, but I'm like, you know what? This location in particular, because of the long rooms and stuff, I ended up getting one of those EMF tripwires. It's a 36-inch long one, so about 3 foot, and basically they light up in different colors based on a spirit coming near them, an EMF, disturbance, I guess. And these things, I have been using them from other people over the past, 3 years. They are so much fun. And I'm hoping to have that for Thursday so we can explore and experiment and play with it. So if you want to take part in this Anoka paranormal investigation we're doing at Divine Lights, which starts at 6 p.m. on Thursday, August 14th, go to Charvinity on Facebook and their events. She has Anoka Paranormal Investigation, and in there you can get a link to the tickets. It's $59 to do so, and it's worth it. It's a fantastic location, and once again, we get a lot of people who are like, "How do we investigate? What do we want to investigate around here?" This is how you do so. As simple as that. So do that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll talk about that more over the coming week, and and then also, I have to say, even though this is a little bit further out, our next Ghost Stories and Beyond is September 3rd. And if you listened on Monday, we had our special guest, Kelly Schutz. They're talking with us. Fantastic conversation. She's going to be with us on September 3rd at Billy's with us. She's live there with us in person, and we have her for 2 hours. We're going to be talking. So lots of fun stuff, lots of good stuff. I'm really excited about it. But that paranormal investigation, Adam, that's going to be truly a lot of fun. That's going to be good stuff.
Just know about the tripwire thing. I've seen it used once at when we did the Masonic Lodge in Rush City.
Rush City, yeah.
Someone had one, and that's the first time I'd ever seen it used. And there were a few moments where that thing was going off like crazy. And not only would that go off, somebody else had a REM pod within the circle that they created with it. That started going off as well at the same time. That was fun. And I can't wait to see you actually get to play with one of your own instead of having to borrow them.
One of my favorite things is asking Spirit to start at one end with the tripwire and having all the lights go like going in order to the other end.
Oh, that would be neat to see.
Seen it. It's pretty amazing. So
that's cool.
Yeah, you definitely want to do that. So lots of stuff going on. Make sure you are up to date going over to GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun on Facebook. I have all that stuff there as well. So, a lot of great stuff going on this weekend. We are running a little bit late. So before we head off to break, let me quickly read the question of the week. Question of the week is this. Do you think taking historical antiquities out of their native locations, such as the tomb of Tutankhamun, is that a good idea, or should they be left where they were found? That is the question of the week. We have some answers. If you have any thoughts on it, please put it in the comments. We'll be getting to those and some other things when we get back. It's Casual Friday. What's ever on your mind, let us know. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
What if one day could open your heart, spark your spirit, and connect you to your most authentic self? That day is Saturday, August 23rd from 10 to 6 at the Litz Rock Shops Woo Woo Festival at the Taylors Falls Memorial Community Center, located at 312 Government Street in Taylors Falls. Explore tarot, oracle, psychic, and mediumship readings. Listen to inspiring speakers covering fascinating metaphysical topics. Soak in the calm tones of live hand-pan music. Shop handcrafted goods, crystals, metaphysical tools, books, and more. It's just $5 cash at the door as a free will offering. And remember, Taylors Falls is a destination. Come out for the festival and stay to explore the natural beauty, historic charm, and energy of this incredible town. And yes, there will be walking tacos.
The Let's Rock Shops Woo Festival, Saturday, August 23rd from 10 to 6 at 312 Government Street, Taylors Falls Memorial Community Center. Just $5 at the door. Come for the woo, stay for the wonder, and the walking tacos.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And somebody had sent me a message wondering exactly where in Baraboo is Deb's event. It's called the Awakening Code Holistic Expo in Baraboo, Wisconsin. That's at the Baraboo Arts Banquet and Convention Center, 323 Water Street, Baraboo, Wisconsin. That is tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Once again, if you go out there and the admission, go to where you pay for the admission. If you say GhostBox, if you just say GhostBox, they will let you in for free. Otherwise, it's a $5 admission. But $5 saved. You go with a couple friends, you end up saving, some money. It's not a bad thing at all. I also found out during the break, Adam doesn't understand how this radio show works, because Savannah in the comments is just wondering curious how old Adam is. Instead of waiting for us to talk about this on the show, he just goes ahead and answers it in the comments. Should we just do the whole show through the comments, Adam, or do you think we can do some audible stuff as well?
I didn't really think that was important enough to talk about, my age, because we just did that last Wednesday when I turned 45.
You're always important, Adam. I don't know how you ever got the impression that you weren't.
I've been married over 20 years and I have a 16-year-old. I am not important.
but I raise your spirits all the time.
Well, thank you. And you do. So. Especially with that bottle of alcohol you left in my no.
Right. So there's no alcohol ever left behind. I don't leave alcohol behind. Just
not a single drop.
No, but though I do have those couple bottles of beer in my office. But first of all, they're warm. Secondly, I know they're not your type of beer. So
no, I'm not. Granted, though, I will drink a Stella if there's nothing darker on tap.
Yeah, that's high praise for them, indeed. I'm sure.
Well, they're fancy, and I'm not.
if there is absolutely nothing left. Well, you could have water here. Oh, you can't. Never mind.
No. So I'll have that green beer, that green drink that Doug always has.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. I was gonna say I make it my business never to drink anything green as I'm like putting my can of Mountain Dew to my mouth. Just like.
But that's Slurm, and we're all good with Slurm.
I love Slurm. Let's see here. I haven't got to the point of if I can't have access to it, I'm trying to bite off my arms, but getting pretty close over there. Hey, I got to ask you real fast. Were you ever a King of the Hill fan?
I dug some of them. I mean, I think I kind of fell out of it after probably like 2001, 2002. Sure. So I hadn't watched in a very long time. Because
they have new episodes out now. And so I've been watching those. And it's very interesting. Sometime we'll have to talk about that. Very interesting indeed.
Is Bobby still the same age? Like, is this like a continuation, or is like Bobby an adult now? And
he's 21 and he owns a restaurant.
Oh, he doesn't own a propane dealership?
He doesn't own the restaurant, but he's the head chef of the restaurant. Nope, he doesn't own a propane anything. And matter of fact, one of the episodes I just watched was a real problem for Hank, because this restaurant, which is in Dallas, is not in Arlen. So it's in Dallas, and Bobby is using charcoal instead of propane. And you could see where the split in the family happens. So,
oh my goodness, wow,
right? Who knew what this is drama at really high end drama over here that we're talking about. So,
I really thought to split the hills would have taken more than charcoal.
Then you have not seen King of the Hill, if you based on how Hank as in the episode, Bobby says that Hank loves only 4 things: his country, his wife, Bobby, and propane. And so yeah, it's something else. All right, question of the week. I thought this was interesting. I don't know what. Well, I do know what made me think about it, but anyway. The question is, do you think taking historical antiquities out of their native locations, such as the tomb of Tutankhamun, is that a good idea, or should they be left where they were found? I'm curious to know what everyone thinks. Adam, why don't we start with you? What do you think?
I'm torn personally. Because I would, love to see this stuff when it tours. Not everyone can, drop their lives and go to wherever it is, whether it be Egypt or, Germany or France or wherever it is, to see these historical items. You can't just drop and go. So I do like the fact that they will go on toward museums, but at the same time, like something like, Tutankhamun there, you're going into his grave. So you are disturbing the grave, but, I'd almost rather museums get that stuff, or governments that can display it, rather than like looters, robbers, or things like that, or those who have personal collections. So, but at the same time, it's like here in the States, we have, consecrated ground. You're not supposed to go on it, whether it be, a cemetery or a native burial ground or whatever it might be. And yet we look at that as different because this was 5,000, 6,000 years ago, which really it isn't any different.
Yeah.
So it really is kind of, you're stuck in the middle of, are we going to disgrace this grave, or are we just going to let private collectors, looters get the stuff? Me personally, I would like it saved in that spot. And if we could create models, especially now that we have 3D printing readily available, make copies and do that, but keep it otherwise, pristine. But that's never going to happen. But
so you're saying just whip out a 3D printing of Tutankhamun and call it good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah, no, that's good. Well, I mean, but there, this is a complex situation, right? And I want to read some responses here that I think really highlights it, because it's interesting. You and I talked about this, where people are coming from, and I find it very interesting. First of all, our good friend Russ here wrote a small novella as an answer, and we will see how this works. And I don't know if he's answering the question. We've had many such cases, because he's a paranormal investigator, and it doesn't need to be much. We had the haunted ambulance case where, in short, a flower was randomly picked from a desert location and given to a friend who was driving the ambulance. That night, both EMTs who were in the ambulance had horrific nightmares, and even the next day, they still felt the ambulance had an eerie vibe. I was called in that day to investigate. Immediately upon contact with the ambulance, I knew that something had been picked off an unmarked grave from the past. It took a few questions, but it soon came out that a flower had been randomly picked and given to the driver, who had kept it in her pocket throughout the day. I said a prayer of peace for the deceased, nothing that there had been no harmful intent. After that, the ambulance was back to normal. # search for spirits. That's his group. Why do paranormal teams always have to make sure, even if it's just one person answering, has to make sure we all know what their team name is? I'm sorry, and I'm sure there's paranormal teams who are now turning me off because they're just like, what do you mean? It's like, why are we all wearing black? Why do we all pose with our arms, like this, like we're angry? And then why do we always have to make sure people know, what paranormal teams we are? Because no, I don't think anyone's going to remember. They're going to remember the nice thing that Russ said, but I don't know if they're going to remember Search for Spirits, which is in Minnesota, by the way. I know them. So that's my curious. That's my internal question of the week, Adam, is that.
And not to harp on any teams or anything like that, but yeah, can we not have the 80s hair band, but now in the black motorcycle, group photos? Thanks. That'd be great. Just show me a picture of the location and we're good. I don't think they're 80s hair band. I think they are Metallica circa Black Album, where they did have the long hair and then they tried to be a little bit more like sporty or something, Yeah, that Black Album. I'm sorry. But yeah. You don't like Enter Sandman? I actually really do myself, but no, the last album of theirs I liked was Master of Puppets. Indeed. Folks, I can joke about how people look in paranormal teams because I'm in the paranormal and I also know what I look like. So, I do this a lot too. Once again, the question is as follows. Do you think taking historical antiquities out of their native locations is a good idea, or should they be left where they're found? Cheryl says, if they had been left in tombs, somebody will steal them. And, you had touched on that as well. Chuck says, as far as King Tut's tomb is concerned, once something has been found, it is best to move items out to prevent theft. If we're talking contemporary antiques, I've been fortunate to visit museums that have been
have the very house furnishings that they were 100 years ago. Removal of such items are case by case and definitely situational. If I'm not mistaken, I think someone tried to steal from King Tut's tomb, long time ago, and they tried to get in, but they didn't see like what was in there or something, because mostly everything was kept. Cindy says, I agree that they should be left out, or they should be left, but grave robbery is such a problem. I love how it's such a problem these days, grave robbery. I understand also wanting to learn things from them, but we are disturbing a sacred ground. Who that takes the item should understand that their life may change due to powers we don't have control over. That's it, I think. And that's kind of what Russ was saying with his story about the flower in the ambulance. Very interesting stuff. Going over to, let's see here. I need to go to a different page here for some more answers, because over at Pac-Man Paranormal, someone answered over there, and I thought that was interesting. Let's see here real fast. Again, so many people posting this page, I can't even find what I'm looking for. Okay. Australia's Capture Paranormal, that's what they're called. This is what they said. Definitely leave them where they are. Respect the reason for them being there in the first place, and don't tempt fate, as you never know what might happen if disturbing something, especially if it has spiritual or religious significance. View, leave untouched, and move on with the memory of your experience. And I think the question is, and let's talk about this more after the break here. But the thing that we've been talking about off air here is, I think none of us, I don't think either of us disagree with that we should be afraid of grave robbing. That's very much clearly, like, especially once someone knows that this stuff is there, that could be a potential hazard. But if I'm not mistaken, all of Tutankhamun's stuff came over to England. Is that the right thing to do, though, to have it coming from England or Egypt going over to England? Does that make it all right? Is that the right thing to do? Like, yeah, we found it and we're taking it with us, opposed to we found it, let's hand it over to Cairo or somewhere in Egypt and have them deal with it. I don't know enough about it to know what the arrangements were about it, but I think that's still an interesting question. Why don't we talk a little bit more about that, get to some other stuff, and maybe talk a little bit about when King Tutankhamun's grave was found. We have plenty more to get to, so stick around. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
Madison Comic and Pop Culture Expo comes to the Alliant Energy Center August 9th and 10th. Madison Comic and Pop Culture Expo is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall, and artist alley for all the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&As, and even more. Madison Comic and Pop Culture Expo, also known as MadX, is going to be huge, with guests like Walter Jones from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, legendary wrestler Sting, plus other great guests from voice actors, authors, and artists all over the entire weekend. 2 days of action-packed fun at the Alliant Energy Center. Tickets start at $53. Kids tickets are just $9.99 for the entire weekend. Don't wait to get your tickets. Buy your tickets and get more information at MadisonComicExpo.com. MadX is Wisconsin's biggest Comic-Con, and don't forget Twin Cities Con is coming up in November. New guests are being announced all the time. Go to TwinCitiesCon.com for more information.
Are you one of thousands of individuals who know you have psychic abilities but don't know how to tap into your higher self?
Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who offers classes that can help you reach your goals. Refined Divine holds classes Monday and Thursday at her 2 locations and via Zoom. Classes consist of manifestation, learning psychic abilities, shadow work, and healing trauma. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
This is Psychic Medium Deb. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And join us Monday on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. We're going to have on Leah Marie Dunham from Let's Rock Shop in Taylor's Falls, Minnesota. She's going to be talking about the shop and other things that are going on. Most importantly, the Woo Festival. You've been hearing the commercials for that. We're going to talk about that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And just on cue, it's International Cat Day, and my cat is in here with me, clawing me and whatever else. Thankfully, she doesn't have nails. Tuesday, we're going to have Deb on, Refined Divine. We're going to talk about experiences, feeling those emotions when you get, I think, when you basically kind of come to terms with certain abilities that you have. How do you deal with those emotions or news of like a loved one reaching out to you from the other side? How do you deal with that? We're going to be talking about that. Wednesday, we're going to have on author Darby Harn. We're going to be talking about his new fiction book, Dead Malls. It's going to be really cool. Thursday, we're talking with Paul Blake Smith about the JFK conspiracy. And then, of course, Friday, we're going to be starting this thing on Casual Friday where one of our segments is going to be a vendor from the Rock Island Esoteric Expo that is happening on October 4th that we're going to be at. GhostBox Radio is a sponsor. But next Friday, we're actually going to have the full hour with a guest, and that is Ernie Pack. And we're going to be talking about some of the events that we are going to be working on together at the Rock Island Esoteric Expo. There's so much going on. It's pretty cool. And we're not even done talking about into the Halloween season, which is going to be pretty grand as well. So, Adam, lots of stuff going on. Hold on to your hat.
I'm just glad you gave me the warning that Ernie's going to be on next week. Thank you.
Oh no, I needed. I mean, that's gonna be a Southern comfort night. You know, that's the way I look at that. My God,
yeah. There's going to be plenty of drinking. It's like, all right, Ernie, you're on.
I might want to see if Shar wants a guest host to be perfect.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, Shar, you can run Casual Friday for us. You know, going back to taking things from like Tutankhamun's pyramid or whatnot. And the story we had a moment ago about the flower in the haunted ambulance.
Yes.
Reminded me of something about taking items from sacred places. I found the name of it because it sounded horrible, but it's Swedish. So that's why it sounds horrible. It's called Blockula, Blockula. It's translated into the Blue Hill. It's in Sweden. And it's basically where the devil and his earthly court of witches used to dwell, but there's a stone labyrinth that's been there for hundreds and hundreds of years. And the story is that people will go and tour that area and will take a rock from that labyrinth. It's even the littlest pebble, but they all end up sending them back or taking them back because bad things start happening to these people as soon as they take that rock off that hill island in Sweden.
Well, I mean, look at it this way too. I mean, even it's strange how this can work because remember the story is as well with Robert the Doll. You're not taking anything from him, but if you're taking a picture of him without asking permission, that there is a lot of stories about how their lives have been not inconvenienced but ruined.
Oh yeah.
Or even when you see him, that you want to, pay respect and say hello to him. It's, but definitely. And, talking about like, say, the Warrens Museum and people, the whole thing about the Warrens Museum is that when Ed and Lorraine would do these cases, they would take something from each of the locations and then put it into a room in the basement of their house, became a museum. If you ever really want to get a good idea of what it looks like, I mean, the Conjuring films, they're pretty spot on with it. But the thing about that is, and this is not for me to say what Ed and Lorraine Warren should do. But the number one thing that we always tell people in our paranormal classes is don't take stuff from a location just as a souvenir. There is and I've known people to do this where they see what the Warrens do and they're like, well, if they can do it, so can I. And they'll take like dirt from a gravesite, or they will take something from a private investigation. And it's like, are you sure you are knowing? Do you know what you're doing? Are you sure that you feel confident about that? Because that is a real thing, to not have that stuff, just with you because you're collecting it. Because, the thing you have to remember is if you have a room full of this stuff, you now compounded that energy. You have all this stuff, and if a lot of people aren't taking it because it's kind of, it's a nice reminder. They're taking something because it's dark, and they want to think that they can, run with the other horses, run with the Warrens, and
that's just wrong.
It's just wrong, and I've seen it backfire. And then people will tell me, well, we've bounded. I'm not really sure what, but let's call it binded. We bound the energy around it so it can't do anything. Are you sure? That's so easy to say. So it's for those of you who are going out there doing the investigations, and you have every right to do whatever the hell you want. Do not take stuff. Even if the owners have given you permission, don't take something. And if anything, take something to, if you need to dispose of it, or if you need to take it somewhere to have someone who is like versed in that area to take care of it. Because the people who, in my opinion, it's just an opinion, the people who gloat about it are the ones who don't know what they're doing. That's just my opinion on that.
And I totally agree with you, because I've seen the shows and things where people are starting their own haunted museums, and not just Bagans, but other people are doing it as well.
Yeah.
My thought is, so great, you're taking this stuff, horrible idea, but you do you, buddy. What happens when you get two conflicting spirits? There's only one person they're going to take their anger out on, and that's going to be whoever brought them together.
Well, and I think you bringing up Zach Bagans' museum, it's a very good example. A lot of people might have their thoughts on the show Ghost Adventures as not being real or whatever else. I have heard from so many people. I've not visited there myself. I've heard from so many people that museum is legit, and that people have gone very sick there. People have had stuff follow them home from there. This is something that I'm not here to say don't go do that. Do what you want to do, but prepare yourself. And to your point, whatever's there that's angry might just see this kind of like feeding time as the museum opens every day, and all these people are coming in, and that's not great. That's really not great. But at least he's not dancing around what this place is. This place, and when you're going to the room that has the mirrors in there, and you go to the room that has Kevorkian's suicide van, it just this stuff, this is legit, and this is next level. It's surprise, because it's not taken seriously as a science, as a paranormal is taken seriously as a science. I think this place would be shut down if it was, because this is next level. And but because people think that scientists, a lot of scientists don't think of it as a real study. It's like, it's in your head, you're in your mind. No, it's not. This is, you got to be careful. And if you think that that's what you want to create on your own by doing your investigations and doing that, that does catch up eventually. I guarantee it will.
Oh, for sure. And I've heard I know folks who've gone out to the Bagans Museum too, and they've actually keep like EMT on staff
Totally.
because they've had so many incidents there. And apparently the Bela Lugosi mirror is really bad
Yep.
around people.
Yep.
And Ed Gein's cauldron, I guess a lot of people have gotten sick by.
Yep.
And I'm gonna skip it because I can't remember the individual's name right off the top of my head, but he was the Night Stalker, and he's got something of Richard Ramirez. He's got some of his stuff that I guess is really, really, really bad.
I wonder if they got that from Hotel Cecil.
Yeah, the Cecil Hotel where Ramirez stayed at. And I was blanking on his name, but yeah, they took items from what was his room until he got arrested.
That's incredible. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, folks. That place totally interests me.
I want to go.
If I had the opportunity, I would go. But I mean, for those who, you got to protect yourself best you can. I don't think that means that you are going to be all safe and sound, but as long as you're taking that seriously, I remember seeing Annabelle in Connecticut back in 2021, and so many people came up to me afterwards, because they saw her too, and they're like, man, did you feel it? Did you feel the energy from her? It felt like she's permeating my mind. I'm like, no, I didn't actually. I really didn't. But that's the thing. And I'm not saying that she didn't, though I don't think she did, to be perfectly honest. But I think a lot of people, they have that in their mind. So if you go there to like Zach Bagans Museum, you have that mindset, and then something happened. I mean, you're just magnifying the chances of something happening to you, basically.
Yeah, you're inviting it. Definitely, if you're going in being like, with that attitude that, oh, something is going to happen.
Yeah.
You're just going to invite it into yourself.
Nope, absolutely. And you just got to be careful with that stuff. That's really all it is. But once again, I mean, where the tangent started was, don't go on investigations and just take, even if you think it's harmless, to take, a memento of something. Just leave it. And it's just like, I know people like, well, if it's dirt, that's like, nature. That's not like me grabbing somebody's, whatever, that possession or something. And just leave it. Totally. Don't put yourself through that, because you will. There was somebody I know that took some dirt from Seth Bullock's grave, and it was like his site over at the Mount Mora Cemetery. Completely strange. Here's the thing about our good friend Seth Bullock is that he can shut down a town, and people are like, well, Seth, he was the hero. He wasn't.
No,
he wasn't the hero, actually, and he still runs that town. We were staying at the Bullock, and we were doing a spirit box session, and I started calling him out, and
oh my God,
and it shut everything down. Everything was shut down.
Dude, why did you do that?
Because he's a bully, and he needed to be called out. And
so it wasn't just like a straight up provoke. Did it take a while to start that, or
it just
on and start provoking?
No, we didn't start right away, but it was just like, this is what we got to be remembrance of, and certain things were happening, and I just called out. I had people in different parts of the same hotel, and everything was shut down. Man. And if you ever see the Deadwood episode of Ghost Adventures, there is somebody that Zach talks to, and I will not say this guy's name. Mm-hmm. Somebody Zach talks to who does not get along with Zach. This guy is also someone to keep your eye on. He no longer worked at the Bullock, and last time we were there, we were just talking about him, not in negatively, but just kind of like, this guy can see things. This guy is, he next level, and it's kind of freaky. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden I look up to the building next door to the Bullock. There he is.
Oh God.
Looking out the window.
No.
Yeah. And I'm like, Oh, he's right here.
Oh my God, dude.
And they're just like, what? I said, John is over at the window. And they all look, and it's like, yep, that's him.
Oh my God.
Watching us, not looking out the window, watching us.
Yeah, you had told me about that, and I went back on Discovery and I watched that episode, and yeah, you are 1,000% correct.
Yeah, there's certain things that you do not mess with. Folks, as we are wrapping up here already on a profound Friday evening, I just want to remind folks, if you are in Baraboo, make a journey to Baraboo this weekend, going over to the Awakening Code Holistic Expo at Baraboo, Wisconsin. You go out there and see Psychic Medium, Refined Divine. Her gallery starts at noon. That is $25 over at 323 Water Street, Baraboo. Now, the admission is $5, but if you go to the front and as you pay and you say GhostBox, as in GhostBox Radio, they will let you in for free. And we are very happy for that. Please show her that that was a good move on her part, because we'd love to get some people out there. Everyone, we're going to be back Monday. We're going to be talking to Leah Marie, talking about the Woo Festival. There's a lot going on, folks. Thank you. Adam, as always, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Remember, we are in a severe thunderstorm watch till 4 a.m. Everyone, have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you Monday.
Hey, Minnesota, it's your favorite sexy liberal. Join me and my